What if we're wrong about the people we deem bad and evil? Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh tells a great story about once hitting his thumb with a hammer while trying to hang a picture. He says, "My left hand did not turn to my right hand and say, 'Give me that hammer. I want to even the score.' My left hand knows it is part of my right hand. The same is true of my right hand. My two hands have the insight of interbeing." We all share the same basic needs: safety, love, autonomy. Our emotions are simply the expression of those needs being met or not. It would make sense then that our focus and energy would go into communication and strategies that would result in obtaining our needs. And while we've been taught some effective communication and strategies, we are still far from being literate in this area of life. We have yet to learn that hurtful behavior is counterproductive to meeting our needs. We're an intelligent species. So how is it that we ended up with such a painful deficiency? Well, for the past 8 years, I've delved into figuring this out. And I believe the root of this hindrance is an illusion of separateness. Philosopher Alan Watts said, "We do not come into this world. We come out of it as leaves from a tree. As the ocean waves, the universe peoples. Every individual is an expression of the entire realm of nature." We're connected to everything. And it blows my mind that most of us, on a daily basis, experience the exact opposite. I'm over here, and the rest of the world is out there. Imagine a leaf thinking itself as separate from the other leaves and the tree it's on. Can you picture that? It's absurd. And yet we don't live with that experience of being a part of everything. My mission in life is to get us present to our connectedness. We are navigating life along with people of radically opposing views. We are witnessing reports of violence, hate, and aggression on a regular basis. And the age-old question arises: why can't we just get along? We need a better way, desperately. And yet, it seems difficult to even imagine feeling connected to people whom we think are wrong in their beliefs. Judgment quickly arises. There doesn't seem to be a point of access. And from the us versus them mentality, there simply isn't. So where do we begin? The experience of connection begins intentionally. It begins in our daily lives, in our encounters with everyone, from the cashier at the grocery store, to our coworkers, to our parents. It would be easy for me to think that an argument I have with a neighbor over noise has nothing to do with the news I'm seeing, with the conflicts I'm seeing there. But that's just not so. We have become addicts of a game called I'm right and you're wrong. It's a destructive game, and one we bring into every encounter. And the consequences are exactly what we're dealing with. My hero and teacher, Marshall B. Rosenberg, the founder of the Center for Nonviolent Communication, made the claim that in any conflict, once each side can state the other side's needs, it takes no more than 20 minutes to resolve it. Yeah, 20 minutes, any conflict. It's 20 minutes from the point both sides understand each other's needs. He discovered that what took time was getting each side to be willing to listen and understand their needs. It turns out We don't have conflicting needs. We have conflicting strategies, and on their own, they're completely manageable. The main issue is we haven't been taught how to identify and communicate our own needs, and much less how to listen for those of another. All anger is simply an expression of the frustration of not knowing how to meet one of our needs. And here's an example I think we can all relate with. You know that point that you reach when you're so hungry and you haven't eaten anything and it seems like a really long time before you're going to get to eat anything? What do you get? You get hangry. Exactly. It's a thing. And we understand that one really well. So much so that even candy companies have used it in advertising campaigns. You're just not yourself when you're hungry. All of our hurtful words and behaviors pour out of unmet needs. Needs of love, of acceptance, of autonomy, of safety. And once we realize this, well, then we get that it's based in ignorance, it's based in hurt and pain. And our desire to retaliate begins to dissipate. Our goals can then shift to providing the empathic connection and education that will support all of us. Listening intentionally, without judgment, and with a desire to understand is the most powerful tool we have. It has the ability to transform our relationship to everything. So how do we apply this in our own lives? Well, let's take a moment to think about the last few weeks. How many of you in here found yourself disagreeing with someone? Like maybe there was drama at work, or maybe you got into an argument with your spouse? Yeah. How many of you here are parents? Maybe you got upset with one of your children. Maybe you asked one of them to do something, and they replied to you with that nasty, horrible word, no. When things don't go the way we want, it can be difficult to know what to do. So I want you to really have that moment that you thought about right now in mind as we try this out. 3 steps. Number 1, self-empathy. When we're in a stressful situation, it's really important to begin by giving yourself empathy. Take a deep breath and notice what you're feeling. Are you afraid? Frustrated? Sad? And now identify what you might be needing. Are you needing some support, some safety, or acceptance? Number 2, acceptance. Let go of judgment. Keep reminding yourself, and trust me, it's going to take a few times. Keep reminding yourself that any ugliness in speech or behavior comes from that special crazy combo of unmet needs and the lack of knowing how to obtain them. And number 3, listening. Go beyond the words to what truly matters to that other person. Imagine what it might have been like to understand them in that moment. What do you think they were feeling? Usually an upset, it'll be something along the lines of fear, frustration, or sadness. And now, what do you think it was that they were needing? Were they needing some safety, some acceptance, or autonomy? Remember that in the heat of the moment, you don't need to do anything to fix it right away. Simply giving somebody else the experience of being heard without judgment is a rare gift, and one which benefits all of us. If we want to experience connection and have more peace in our world, instead of the violence, hate, and aggression we're seeing on the news, we must be willing to take responsibility for the conflicts in our own lives. We must be willing to care and to put something at risk. We must be willing to be made wrong and criticized, and most of all, we must be willing to let go of our favorite game of I'm right and you're wrong. the more we let go of our judgments of people, the more we listen to each other's needs, the more power we have to truly transform what's possible in our world. So maybe we are wrong about the people we deem bad and evil. Maybe we really truly are all one. And if we are all one, well, then that would mean that you are simply a part of me that's just cleverly disguised as not me. And so you're a part of me, you're a part of me, and you're a part of me. Hello, me.